All right, it's Washaholic Wednesday, and in this video, I'm going to share with you the types of services that are affected by cold weather and where you might want to look at not providing that service, and what you can do during the cold weather, and how to travel with your equipment from job site to keep it from freezing. So the first thing I want to share with you are the types of different services that you can offer with power washing and how cold weather will impact that service. So let's first talk about probably the most popular service offered out there, like roof washing and house washing. With those services, you're normally going to have a mixture of sodium hypochlorite. And sodium hypochlorite doesn't work that well below the 50-degree mark, unless you have some additives that you put in there, which we have some stuff we sell that can help, might get you down to the 40-degree mark. But once you hit that, then you really start to have to add a lot more of the sodium hypochlorite or detergents that go with it to get it to be effective. It'll still work, it just really slows down, and it's more costly to have to use it in that fashion. So you're kind of at a 50 to 40-degree threshold. Different people have different takes on where this works best, but keep in mind, for roof washing and house washing, you're probably going to want to start to pull back at 40 and maybe as early as 50 degrees. So that's that one. The next one would be like fleet washing, very popular as well. So fleet washing, for me, because we have a fleet washing business, I generally have a cutoff around 25 degrees. And I watch what's going to happen throughout the day. So if the temperature is going to get warmer or the sides of the truck is going to heat up from sunlight, I know I can wash those sides first, and then as the temperature gets up and it gets up above 32 degrees, I'm okay. Now the thing you want to be aware of with fleet washing is that when you're washing and you're using a hot water machine, that you can heat up the surface and keep going, and kind of, you'll get a little ice on the surface, you'll blow it off because you're going to keep washing with the hot water. But what happens is, if those drivers are coming in shortly after you wash and it doesn't get above freezing, you can freeze the locks on the trucks. You can freeze the brakes on the trucks. You can have water that runs across the parking lot and freezes and creates dangerous situations where they're going to slide or people could slip and fall. So be aware of that and how to manage the safety aspect of washing during cold weather. Then we have flat work. So the cool thing about flat work is that even though it's freezing outside, and if it's just like a quick freeze and it comes back up above normal temperatures, the ground is warm. So you're not going to have a lot of freezing on the ground. You could have a quick freeze for an hour or two, or maybe even 3 or 4 hours if it's not real hard and it's not that windy. So you can go out and wash at night, not have a problem, or even during the day, but most flat work's done at night. And when I say flat work, I mean like drive-throughs, sidewalks, parking lots, parking garages, things like that, where you're cleaning flat surfaces on the ground. Because of the ground temperature, it keeps you in a working phase below freezing temperatures. And then the other one that's very popular is kitchen exhaust cleaning. Now, kitchen exhaust cleaning probably gives you the most flexibility of any service you can provide at working in freezing and well below freezing temperatures. I do the service, and I have had my crews out at 8 degrees cleaning kitchen exhaust systems at night, because basically what we do is we have our trucks and they're enclosed. We run the hoses up or run them up through the ductwork or down through the ductwork from the roof, either way, and we're able to wash the system and never really get that exposed, the water that exposed to cold weather. Now there is the exception of when you're cleaning the roof area off up there. You may or may not be able to do that. And sometimes it's so cold that even spraying a little bit of water on the roof flashes into ice very quick, and so you can't clean the roof. But you can clean inside the fan, you can clean inside the duct, you can clean inside the hood. So you can clean the system to remove all that grease. Be aware that if you're doing any kind of wash water recovery and you're using a sump pump and the ground is heated, you can suck that water back up pretty easy. Now, if the temperature, the air temperature is below 32 degrees and you're running a vacuum system, this is where it gets kind of hairy, because the vacuum system, the air is being sucked in. Remember, I talked about how wind chill affects how quickly it cools things. And with a vacuum system, you basically have the wind chill effect. So as it sucks up that water, all this wind is running across it, and it'll cool the water really fast and freeze it in your vacuum system. So that's where switching over to like a sump pump type recovery system during cold weather becomes very important. And then the last thing I want to talk to you about is traveling with your equipment from job to job. If you don't have a holding tank or a buffer tank, some people like to call it, you need to antifreeze your equipment between every job, or use an air chuck on it to blow it out. And if you haven't seen our video on how to protect your equipment during freezing weather, I actually show that in there, so watch it. But anyway, what you will do without a buffer tank or holding tank is do that before you go from job to job. Then, if you do have a buffer tank, what I recommend, and keep in mind that it takes a lot of energy to heat and cool water. And if you have like a full buffer tank, you put your hose into the buffer tank, don't put it under high pressure, just take the gun off or hold the gun open without a nozzle and let it run and circulate between jobs. Your equipment will not freeze up because the water's moving, and as it moves through the pump and the coils on your heater, if you've got a hot water machine, it will keep it from getting too cold and it'll resist freezing. Now on the other hand, if you have a hot water machine, do not turn your heater on when you go between jobs, because that heat will keep building and building and building, and then you'll burn up your pump. You'll burn up the internal workings of, say, the unloader and other things like that. You don't want to get it that hot. The other thing that helps when you're traveling with your equipment is it on an open trailer or an enclosed trailer. So obviously if it's enclosed, you're not having to cycle the water as much because you don't have the exposure to the elements. Whereas if it's in the back of a truck or it's open to the elements on a trailer, that's when you need to do the cycling of running the machine and doing the winterizing more when you move from job to job. So those factors are going to come into play, but keep in mind that with an enclosed trailer, if it's just a short distance, you're good. But if you're making a long distance run, do the things to winterize and keep your machine from freezing up. During the winter months is actually a good time, or a lot of people actually jump into kitchen exhaust cleaning because they don't have cold weather work. And you can still use your power washing equipment to do kitchen exhaust cleaning. Now, I will add to that, you really want a hot water machine. If you don't have a hot water machine, you may not want to consider that, or upgrade your machine so you get a hot water machine. But if you're looking to do kitchen exhaust cleaning, check it out at Powerwash University, Phil Acklin Training and Certification to help you out and can get you going there. So if you didn't catch our video on winterizing your equipment, check this video out right here. We'll tell you how to do it. And if you still want to operate during cold weather and you're wondering how cold is too cold, check this video out right here. If you like the content I've shared today, hit the like button. And if you want to subscribe so you see more content that we share in the future, hit the subscribe. And if you want that notification, don't forget to hit the bell button. That's this week's Washaholic Wednesday. I'm Mike Hinderliter, Dean of Power Wash. Have a safe and successful week. Take care.